This camera takes 2 images on a single sheet of film. For a long time now, I've wanted to make my own camera, and I dabbled in a few things here and there, mostly made out of cardboard, but recently I thought, you know, Worldwide Pinhole Photography Day is coming, why don't I make a pinhole camera? And I know what you're thinking, another pinhole camera. Yeah, there's probably millions of them at this point. It's been around for a long time. But for mine, I had to keep everything pretty limited because I forgot that the day was coming and I only had 4 days to pull this off. I gave myself 3 goals. Simple, easy to follow. 1, it had to be very simple, something I can make in Fusion 360 and 3D print quickly. 2, it had to be made with a film stock that I already had in stock at home. I didn't have enough time to order some film, and I don't have very much 135 or 120, so I went with 4x5. And last but not least, it had to be panoramic. With all that in mind, I had a few parameters that I really wanted to follow along with the 3 goals that I mentioned before. I wanted it to be able to take 2 at a time, minimum. Typically with a large format camera, you usually have a film holder that holds 2 sheets, giving you 2 images. But the clever way that I got around being able to use 1 sheet to take 2 images is by design. This camera takes 2 2x5-inch images on a single sheet of 4x5-inch film. I named it Duo for several different reasons. Obviously, it has 2 pinholes, but it takes 2 images. It's able to go in 2 separate orientations, and it serves 2 different purposes. It can be a panoramic camera first, or a stereo camera with vertical orientation. I'll get more into that later in the video, but the point of being able to take a stereo image was to be able to have Wigglegrams or, you know, the 3D cool flip back and forth Instagram stuff you see sometimes with old 3D stereo cameras. I don't think I can do anything with lenticular cameras anymore. I don't believe they do anything analog related. If you do anything lenticular, you have to send in a digital file. I'm not going to do that. We're just going to have a bit of fun with this. So without further ado, let's get on the road. We'll see if we can get a photo of this center. This one house here in the center that looks a bit dilapidated with the upper deck falling down. We're going to do a slight up angle to see if we can get all of the house in frame. That should give me more than enough. All right, we're going to go 4 seconds. I want to get all this busy stuff going on over here. Looks like some construction stuff, or I don't know what's going on. 1 1000, 2 1000. There we go. Okay. Did it. The second shot was much brighter, and I think that I didn't need to go very long, so I just went to 3-second exposure. It was about, I know it wasn't 2. I need to go back to my car, switch film, but I'd like to find something that we can do a Wigglegram from. If you don't know what that is, it's this interesting effect that you see a lot of people use 3D cameras with nowadays. Since I have the ability to take 2 photos at a time on a single sheet, I want to see if I can do a kind of a pseudo, well, I guess it's a stereogram. It is a stereogram. I don't know, you'll see. In order to change film in this camera, unfortunately it has to be opened. It only holds 1 photo or 1 sheet of 4x5 film. So in the field, I have to use a dark bag. Haven't used one in the field before, so this is gonna be fun. I don't like using a dark bag out in public. It is not a usable experience. I dislike this. Well, you live and you learn, huh? I think in the future I will try to get one of those tents or something for doing this, because this is terrible. Make sure both of my shutters are on and in place. Yep, we're loaded up for another round. Storage, film. No, I'm not using Portra. I'm using Shanghai GP3 today. So let's get on the road and go somewhere else. John Buck. Huh. Made in 2003. I don't know what the hell it's for. But let's see if it makes an interesting wigglegram. Interestingly enough, in order to do this, I'm gonna put it sideways. I put a sideways mount so we can do more vertical shots with it, easier. So I'm gonna move my tripod mount. And we're gonna do a vertical wigglegram like a stereo camera does. Time to meter for the shot. Looking like at f16, 1/60th of a second. So I'm doing a 7.5 stops difference. So I think 2 seconds should probably be all right. All right. One, two, three. Yeah, I went extra, I know. I'd rather double it. 3 seconds isn't going to be that big of a difference, and I can tray develop and actually figure out if I like that or not. But that'll probably be the one and only wigglegram that I go for. I don't like to waste that much all on one sheet of film. I know, coming from me, right? Mr. 10 by 72 inches. Okay. I think we're gonna go down close to the bayfront and do some photos over there. I wanna see what this looks like with water. I'm gonna go further down and then set up for the shot. I think I want a bit of the seawall behind me, as well as all the sailboats. So we're set up over here. Yeah, I think I like this. Gonna see about what I'm gonna get. And top camera, we're gonna do 2 seconds. 1/1000, 2/1000. Okay, good to go. Now I want to do another photo, but I'm not sure when I want to set up. So I think we might just try to do the one plaza center here, since it's kind of going to be an absurd looking photo. I think vertical will be better because I'm going to get too much of the sun if I don't. It's going to be the one and only vertical shot other than the wigglegram. So let's get going. I think 3 seconds. 1/1000, 2/1000, 3/1000. Okay, let's pack up, head home, and develop some film. Wish me luck. And we're back. Okay, I've got the film pulled out of here. I got 2 sheets in here, and I got 2 more in my dark bag. I'm going to go ahead and process this real quick, and then we'll get to the end here. A couple of things. I'm going to use HC110 dilution B and TF5 or FT5, TF5. I don't ever remember. Fixer. So that's it for chemistry. Water stop, 2-minute pre-rinse, all the usual stuff. 6 minutes at whatever temperature it is. I think right now it's right at about 70. I checked it a few minutes ago. It's like 69.8, so 70. Few shots from downtown on the water. Look, like I got something for both, so pretty happy about that. Looks like my exposure was right on. So scan that. We even have some cloud detail in one of them. I did not expect that. So that'll be fun. Time to do the second one. I want to go over the design for this camera. To start off with, I wanted to touch on these shutters that I made. It's just basically lens caps. There are two magnets in either, one on either side and two that are in the body. So the operation for them is to twist and then pull away. And then when you're done, you know, you've counted out your exposure, slaps back on. The bottom has a 1/4-20 and the left side has a 1/4-20 as well. I was going to do it on this side, but for whatever reason, I just forgot or messed up. But I don't really think it matters. I need to change the design a little bit and maybe increase this area so you can see, so I can see, since I'm the one probably going to be using it. Like what you see here on top, I laid out the field of view as these white lines. So the camera can see about 132 degrees. I went to 130 just to be on the safe side. Anything in this area will pretty much be on the shot. The problem is I should have done the same thing for the side here. I think it's 58 degrees. You really don't have that much of a view from the side. I didn't realize how narrow it was for up and down. Those 2 inches really do cut off quite a bit. Speaking of which, I designed this around a 55 millimeter radius, which is effectively a 55 millimeter focal length. The size of pinhole that I went with is a 0.2 millimeter pinhole, which should be roughly, I think it was like F275. I'm probably close. To access the internals, basically to access where you install the film, I put 2 thumb screws, made 2 thumb screws, and installed a ball level, or a bubble level, excuse me. And the bubble level was just some cheap stuff I got off Amazon. It worked well enough. I didn't really have any issues with it. Let's go and look inside with it. M3 inserts for the screws. I went ahead and used some Musso black, flat black paint for the inside for anything that might have been reflective. Around the edge here is a fake leather self-adhesive vinyl, which is what I use as a light seal to seal around the camera so I don't have any issues with it. Inside, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a baffle inside that divides 50% of the camera itself. I'll go get a piece of film and kind of demonstrate what it looks like. So here's a sheet of fogged out 4x5, and I'm going to try to demonstrate this. So in order for me to load this, I have these teeth on either side here, and I'm just going to curve the film and get it started in those like so. Once it's about a quarter of the way in, I can usually just push it the rest of the way, and then it slips down in there. So then I have a thumb or a finger cut out here to help grab the film. So I'll push up on the film, usually up to about there, and then I can grab it, get my finger behind it. So, and that way I can pull it out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a really simple camera. You can see the inside's pretty flat black, pretty blacked out. You can't really see anything. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do anything with this any further, if I'm going to publish it for people to download, or if I'm going to try to, I don't know. I haven't got any ideas. I kind of wanted to refer to anybody who watches this video, especially if you've watched it this long. If you're interested in getting one of these or making your own, leave me a comment. Let me know, because I don't know if anybody's actually interested in copying this design or using this design. So I don't know if I want to publish it. I had thought about making them and then selling them, but I think it's such an incomplete design right now that I'm not really at a point to really charge any money for this. I want to lock down the design a little bit more in a way that I'm able to get rid of these for the shutters and instead have some sort of a thin mechanism that actually shutters over that can be operated from the side. But right now it's such an incomplete state. I don't think I really want to do much with it. I originally, to play a little bit on the story for why I decided to produce this, I wanted to make an ultra large format version of this camera originally to do 9 inches by 30 inches. And then that was just going to be with a 1 millimeter pinhole. Problem was, I realized that I only had 4 days to come off with this project, so then I went smaller, and smaller for me was 8x10. Basically, I wanted to make a 4x10 version of this. I had to ring myself in a little bit more, and then I dropped down to 4x5, and that's kind of where I settled on the Duo 25 or the Duo 25. I think at some point I'd like to scale this up and do an 8x10 version to do the dual 4x10 images, but you know, this is where I'm at. So recently I did a fisheye adapter video where I put a fisheye lens onto a 4x5 camera. If you haven't seen that, I'll put a link in the description for it. But basically I assumed that this would produce an image similar to that fisheye. But in reality, it produces an image that's closer to a swing lens panoramic camera or like a circuit camera. There's an obvious curvature there, but it doesn't have the full-on barrel distortion that you see with a fisheye lens. The barrel distortion is spread out evenly across the entire field. You're cropping whatever format you're using to be able to get in on that image. But like with this, it's only 130 degrees horizontally. It's less than 60 degrees vertically. So it really kind of narrows what you're able to look at. And it seems like this camera is good at producing an image of things closer to the camera than it does far away. For whatever reason, I noticed going through the images that I made, all of my landscape images were so low on detail, but the image of the statue, I could see a lot more information, or at least I think I can see more detail. I don't know. Pinholes not for everybody, but the fact that I was able to design and produce this in less than 4 days is just wild to me. And it's real fun, the fact that it actually does work and produces an image. There are a couple of drawbacks. The fact that I have to use a dark bag to swap it out. If I ever decide to go with this design again or make another camera like this in the future, I might make it with a dark slide and a detachable back. That way I can have multiple backs with me, and I'm not limited to needing a dark bag to change film out in the field. That thing was just uncomfortable. I did not enjoy that at all. It really it made me not want to use this camera. So, you know, if you made it this far, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And if you like this sort of content, YouTube thinks you might like the video that's on screen. So why don't you click it? Until next time.